All right, we're here with the last set review, and that's going to be black for Stand Diva with the Life Burst podcast. The first one up is going to be Rectilium Natural Planet. This is a level 1, power 3000. It's got an auto ability. When this card is put from your deck to the trash, you may discard a card. If you do, you can return this card from your trash to your hand. And then you can target one Signy on your opponent's field with its Life Burst. If you pay black colorless, it gets negative 12,000 power. Cool. Is this card very good? Probably not. I'm going to go ahead and say pretty unplayable. Being able to retrieve this card from your trash to your hand is cool, but you have to discard a card to do it, therefore less cool, and then it's not a great card on its own. So because of that, there's no real reason to be retrieving this card. Its Life Burst is pretty expensive. Yes, it's got a good threshold of 12,000 power, but again, expensive, so maybe you want to avoid that one. You want to be using your Enter for other negative effects. Moving right along, let's talk about Pa, Natural Element. You can discard 2 Atom Signy. It's a level 1, by the way, with 2,000 power. You can discard 2 Atom Signy on its Enter ability. You can target a Signy on your opponent's field and it gets negative 8,000 power till end of turn. This isn't good yet. This will be good, but not right now. There's not quite enough Atom Signys for this to be a powerful deck. And again, discarding 2, you probably want a bare minimum of 28 atoms in order to make this good. Give it a little bit. You'll get there. There's a very, 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 very strong atomic deck in the future. So right now, probably viable. In the future, optimal. I wouldn't say staple, but optimal. So hold your horses, guys. This card's going to be very good in its future. In the meantime, it's only okay. Code Art U Sesibo. This is a level 1 that has the Enter ability of put the top 2 cards of your deck into your trash. Then if one or more spells were put in the trash this way, target Signy on your opponent's field gets negative 2,000 power till end of turn. Is it good? The answer is no. Black doesn't really like spells all that much. It prefers its removal on the actual Signys themselves. So you're never really going to find this to be super effective. Black's also not necessarily a good spell support color, so I still don't think you'll find this effective, even in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and say unplayable. Next one is Sabren, Doomed Angel. It's a level 2, power 10,000. It's a vanilla, so it doesn't have anything on the card except for a Life Burst. You can target one Signy on your opponent's field, and then if you discard a card, you can give it negative 12,000 power. Is that card good? Yes, it's good. This is a good card. This, just like its counterpart in red, where you discard a card and basically can vanish any Signy, is a good card. You're getting the nod over the normal removals that exists in level 2 Life Bursts, with the fact that you're getting more range, but at the cost of a card. So if you are finding yourself in a slower meta, I'd consider playing this card. It's good. You should play it if you need Life Bursts in your level 2 slot. Luca, Doomed Evil. It's a level 2. It's our first Rise Signy as a level 2. Ooh, cool. Its power is 8,000. It's also a demon. That matters because you have to rise it on top of a demon. And then you get the Enter ability of Vanish all non-black Signy with power 3,000 or less. Costs black and a colorless. I'm going to say viable. The fact that it restricts you to basically only using demons is a downside. There are going to be cards in the future that like seeing Rise, and potentially that's an upside for the card. But it is tough. This should be read as a demon tribal spell that can, for 2 Enter, vanish all non-black Signy with power 3,000 or less, which is aggro decks, but even then, not all of the cards in aggro decks. Viable. It doesn't quite do enough. If it was power 5,000 or less, I'd be super interested in it. 3,000 or less gets closer, but not quite. Trifling, High Armed. We have another level 2. It's got 5,000 power. It's an armed Signy, and that just matters because I guess it's also a tribal armed Signy. It's got a auto, turn 1, Whenever one of your other armed Signies enters the battlefield, target Signy on your opponent's field gets negative 2,000 power till end of turn. The issue with this is the level 2 that does negative 2,000. That's not quite enough to kill things. It just kind of makes things smaller. And it's limited to a single card, single use a turn. I wouldn't want to play this even if I wasn't forced to play armed Signies, and I can't imagine in the future that armed will matter so much that I'm going to enjoy a negative 2,000 as a payoff. So I'm going to go ahead and say unplayable. Skip it, guys. Let's talk about Izu, Doomed General. It's our first level 3 black Signy. It is enter, target level 1 on your opponent's field. Target 1 Signy on your opponent's field until end of turn. It gets negative 2,000 power. Again, I've said that that's not super great. You have the ability to action, discard 2 cards. You can put this Signy from the trash into your center Signy zone. The fact that you have to discard 2 cards in order to get this out is not super great, unless you have discard synergies and mill synergies, in which case, still only okay. So, I don't think it's all that great. Let's talk about its Life Burst. Target 1 Signy without a guard from your trash, then add it to the field or your hand. Okay, that's better. That is actually a solid ability. But Life Burst is not going to save it here. I don't think this is a good card. Probably unplayable. Let's talk about Telescopium, Natural Planet. This is a level 3, 10,000 power. Has an enter ability of target 1 Signy in your opponent's field, and if there are 5 or more level 1 Signies in your trash, until end of turn it gets negative 5,000 power. If there are 10 or more, which is basically impossible, instead, it gets negative 10,000 power. So this is a self-mill removal card. If you're playing self-mill, you probably want to play Langling. If you're playing Langling, Langling has a better effect. You're also probably playing Dark Energy, because that's just a good card. You're also probably playing Anna Mirage, because that's a better card. Level 3 removals in black, it is a very, very tight space to try to be good in. So is this card good? The answer is no, not really. It's not super great. So let's go with the viable rating for this. I feel bad giving it a completely bad rating. It's probably unplayable. There's been a lot of not so great black cards revealed. But let's talk about, oh god, Eshkel, Doomed Evil. Let's see. How does Google want to say this one? Right? Isn't there a way to nope, I can't even make it speak. Okay, never mind. Eshkel, that's what we're gonna say. Doomed Evil. It's a demon. That's kind of worth mentioning in black. It's level 3. It's got a very crazy ability. Put the top 2, or just put 2 Life Cloth into the trash. If 2 cards were put into the trash this way, all Signy on your opponent's field, put all Signy on the opponent's field into the trash. You wipe the board. Something important in this reminder text, you can't choose to not activate this enter ability because it doesn't have a cost. And if you have 1 Life Cloth, then you still have to put that Life Cloth into the trash, and it won't go off. Its Life Burst is target Signy on your opponent's field to get to negative 10,000 power till end of turn. It's actually quite a strong Life Burst in black. So this is an all-in or not all-in card. This is either an outstanding card or god-awful. There's no in-between for this card. If you are confident that your opponent is not aggroing you down all the time, then you can play this card and basically win your game of Wixoss immediately. If you are getting aggroed down, you play this card and you've either killed yourself or will kill yourself in a turn. So keep that in mind. Its Life Burst is great, however. If you can manage to just put this in your Life Burst every time, then you'll do wonderful. I actually think this card is somewhat powerful. And it's also, for example, by the way, important here, power 3,000. So 13,000, it's not small. This card is powerful, so I'm going to give it a viable rating. I think it's too scary to play in most decks. But if you've got the courage to play this, you will have some fun games of Wixoss that you can tell. And it will lead you to a story every time, at least. You will either be like, man, that one time I played it and I just won the game, or man, that one time I played it, oh my god, I lost so badly. So take it as you will, your choice. AC Natural element queen is the next one. I guess I should continue my tradition of badly pronouncing the elements. So, Ak, natural element queen. It's a level 3000 power 10,000. Power 10,000. It's an atom. It's important to recognize in the future. During your turn, whenever your opponent's Elrig grows, you can target one black Signy from your trash, then add it to your hand. Its action ability is once a turn, you can pay black. You can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, toss them in the trash, then you can target one black Signy from your trash, put it on the field. Self-mill decks are going to like this. Decks that want to extend the game are going to like this. And it is not defensive, but it helps you get card advantage. So if you're looking for card advantage in black, this is a way to do it. Is that good? Probably not. Again, black's level 3s are pretty tight at the moment with all the good cards they have in it. So I don't know if this really breaks it. I'll give it the viable rating because I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's so strong you'd consider it for a lot of stuff. It does have a good type line in Atom, so that will matter a little bit in the future, but probably less. So I'm going to say viable, and probably it goes down from there. Rectal Digger is the next one. This is the last of our spells that have exceed 4 in its use cost. If you exceed 4, remember you can't exceed 4 again in that game. Target Signy on your opponent's field gets negative 5,000 power till end of turn. Additionally, if you exceed 4, it gets negative 12,000 power. Okay. It also costs a black. Is this card good? The answer is, if you're playing Diagram, no. If you're playing Black Dream Teams, yes. This card is basically optimal if you're playing Black Dream Teams, but if you're playing Diagram, the Diagram spell is probably just better for you to play. So it's less good right now, but as more and more Dream Teams are made and more of them are using black and breaking with black, this becomes more of a valid option. Let's go ahead and put this down as viable. That's our black colors in this set. That's all of the reviews. My voice can barely handle anymore. So as I'm going to stop talking now, please hit the comments down below and let me know what you think of so I can just type my answers rather than speak them. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the series. We do this every set. So if you guys want to see future sets, feel free to hit that subscribe button.